Hey folks, it's Nick Granville. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to talk about the 3 essential tones that I get asked for all the time when it comes to doing session work. You know, I do a fair bit of this stuff in a wide variety of genres, but generally it's like rock and pop stuff, that sort of thing, but also jazz and jazz related type stuff. Even the occasional country session, although I'm not known for that, but I can do it if I need to, and I've done a little bit of that and some sort of bluesier things and stuff like that. But these are the 3 sounds that I get asked for like all the time. First one I'll start with is clean, obviously, right? This sort of tone. And what it is it's clean with just a touch of reverb, and it's not really that clean if you think about it. You can hear it's got a little bit of bite about it, right? A little bit of it's like it's clean, but it's on the pushed side of clean, right? And that's something I get asked for a lot, like, right? That's probably the bulk of what I do. People think a lot of times doing sessions is you're going to be playing with these big heavy overdrives and all this, you know, like Steve Lukather type stuff, you know. Some people probably do get that, but I'd say the vast majority of people do sessions don't. Like most stuff is, if you think about most music, I'd say the bulk of the music in the world is cleaner tones, right? So that's a must, and for me it's like generally a Fender amp. Now I'm using a Fractal at the moment, but I do use amps as well for sessions. I use whatever gets the job done. To be honest with you, people don't care, right? They don't. They don't care whether you use an amp, a Fractal, whatever. They just want, like, is it good? Right? Now, there is the occasional person who kind of understands it and gets real gear nerdy and kind of is into that. And that's totally fine. You know, you've got to kind of keep them happy too. But most people, like, if you think gear matters that much, then have a talk to the singer whose project it is maybe that you're working with, and ask them what sort of guitar you used on the session a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Guarantee you they wouldn't even know. Anyway, so that's a clean kind of Fender sound. What I'm looking for is warmth, but still clarity. And I don't tend to change that sound that much. If I want a different sound, I'll just grab another guitar. So I'll just grab another guitar. So if I play this guitar, I'll get a completely different kind of clean tone, and all the variations that I can do with these controls, because I use them a lot. And what I can do with these, right? Even just with that clean sound, I can get this. Now I'd probably use a different guitar for that, but nonetheless I can do it. hillbilly chords. The thing is, people don't care how you get that. They just want you to get that and for it to be good. Really, the most important skill when it comes to sessions is being able to dial in good tones, and the most important skill, without a doubt, is how you play rhythm, right? And by rhythm, I mean even when you're playing lines or solos or whatever, like how does it rhythmically feel? Are you in the pocket or not? That's generally the biggest issue that people are looking for, right? They want to make it feel good. Anyway, moving along. So that's like the clean tone, right? Fender amp type thing. And then generally the next sound I use, most of this happens in degrees of gain. So this is like a clean kind of bluesy breakup tone. It's what I used on that intro. And again, I can change it by what I'm doing here. And of course, if I was to use a humbucker guitar, I'd get more push and more drive and more into that kind of classic rock territory. But with that sound, I've got delays on it, because I'm thinking of it as a lead tone. Although I can, of course, adjust that same tone to be without that. I usually leave reverb on. A lot of times people now will ask for reverb because stuff I'm doing, I have to work really quick and they just want it done. So most engineers, I'll ask them, do you want reverb on? They're like, yeah, just give me the finished product if it's good. Some will say, okay, take the reverb off and just record it dry. Sometimes I record a DI part as well as the guitar part and they can reamp it. But most of the time, most people can't be bothered doing that, right? They don't need that. They just need it to be good, right? And quick. So that's like the second tone. And then the third tone that I'll get asked for a lot is like your screaming rock lead tone. And that sound is, in this case, is using the Friedman amp, but any kind of Marshall-esque kind of thing. That's generally what they're looking for. The push tone that I used a minute ago, that could be like a Vox type thing. In this case, I'm using a Fender amp, but, you know, I'm not much of a Vox fan, but that's generally what they're meaning, is that Voxed, pushy kind of tone. And then the Marshall. So we're thinking Fender, Vox, Marshall as your sounds. And that sound, I have like a delay on it, which is trying to add width to the sound. I've got gain, but it's not like crazy gained up. It's gained up enough to give it some sustain and some beef, but it's not kind of crazy. And even within that sound, if I go to this setting here, say middle pickup, and I just keep the volume on low, I'm gonna tune up. Being out of tune is not an option. If you record a take, like, it's one thing that I cannot get away with at all. The sound you have to be in tune. So I tune between every take. Sometimes I tune during a take. If I get a second, I'll make sure I'm in, right? Because nothing ruins a take more than a guitar that's out of tune. You're not going to fix it. But say I have my volume, I'll put my volume on 3, middle pickup, volume on 3, tones are up on full. Needs a little more. Let's go to 5. So I took the delays off. I'll go to position 2 now. Bring the volume up to about 7 or 8. So you see, out of that sound, I can make it be as broad or as small as I want, you know. Crap. I can make it be as, you know, thinner with a Strat pickup, or if I want a humbucker guitar, something like this, or a Les Paul for even more beef, or 335 for a more open kind of sound. So for me, it's like I swap instruments, but I have those 3 primary sounds, and really they're just different gain staging. It's like clean, pushed, like Voxy type sound. I'm using a Fender but using a Vox type thing, and then you kind of lead tone. I could pretty much do any session with those, and I might add things to those, right? Like this might be my clean tone but with a chorus effect. Believe it or not, I'm getting asked a lot more for that these days than we ever used to, right? Like that was a real 90s thing that people kind of, same with wah-wah, they died off for a while. People were like, oh, don't do that. Now it's kind of come back round in vogue, so that's cool with me, you know? So I sound like that. I might do the same thing but add a tremolo. It's a sound I like a lot. And then of course I'll do the same sound but often with a drier reverb. So It's almost like a slap in the reverb. That's kind of perfect for your bubblegum parts. And a Strat is like probably the home base for doing sessions, right? Like it's sort of one of the kind of most versatile guitars that you're going to get, and it's going to be one you're going to be asked for. In terms of guitars, maybe I could do another video where I kind of discuss which are the essential guitars for doing session work, at least in terms of the session work that I do, which could be different than other people. Like, for example, if you're a Nashville guy, then you're going to be doing different stuff than what I'm doing, who is somebody kind of jazz-based, right? Now, most sessions I do aren't jazz stuff, right? They're more pop, rock, music theatre albums, whatever, you know. I do some jazz albums. I've got one coming up where I've got to do a big band album. Play guitar parts on that album. They're flying in different people from around, they're flying in parts from different people from around the world. I think John Riley's playing drums on it, so it'd be great. I've played with John a few times, so it'll be nice to reconnect with him on that album. They were talking about John Patitucci playing bass, so that's a hell of a rhythm section. And then little old me putting some guitar parts in, right? Donnie McCaslin, I think, was on that. So some heavyweights, you know what I mean? But you can do that now. You can have different people in different parts of the world putting things together, even on a somewhat jazz record, right? I'm not going to ask for people to subscribe anymore. I'm going to change my whole kind of outlook on that. I'm going to say thanks to those who have already subscribed. You're awesome. That's what this is all about. And subscribing really helps the channel, as does liking the videos. So those that do that, you're awesome. Thank you very much. I hope you've got some use out of this. If you're interested to see kind of what I talk about in terms of the guitars that I might select for a certain session, then I'm happy to do that. Now, any kind of stuff like that, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks very much. Cheers.